Today's fun little adventure, today, tomorrow, Bobcat T740 tracked skid steer. What we did was we ran a cheap filter on it from Amazon. And I learned after that the cheap filter from Amazon is garbage and lets everything through, and it destroys your injector and pump. So today we're doing an injector. Well, we're doing a pump and injectors and lines and fuel rail and return lines and new filter housing. Absolutely everything that can be replaced is being replaced. Filter housing, new injectors, new rail, new lines, and new pump. That's because we replaced it. We'll replace the injectors. We had injector failure, just pumping out smoke. The backflow tests, they were just pumping out like a gallon a minute. I mean, it was absurd. After running perfectly, brand new injectors in there, oh my God, it ran beautifully. And then it ran like hell. So what happened is it just scoops up all the garbage. It flows right through the cheap filter and makes it right into the system and plugs those injectors, and then they backflow. They just come out the top, pump fuel in all the time. You smoke, you do everything horrible, it runs horrible. So today I should be pulling that pump, pulling my injector lines, pulling my injectors, replacing all that, replacing my filter housing, and all the lines. I think that's it. After that, we're going to clip into the computer. We'll go and we'll program for all the new injectors. Then we'll fire this bad boy up, and hopefully it will run good again. This is a great machine. It actually has 2,222 hours exactly on it right now. It should have, double that before the motor fails. But we'll see. That's what we're going to do. I got the camera set up here. Kind of keep an eye on what's going on. And that's the activity for today. If you watch this just for some Bobcat repair tips, good for you guys. Thanks for check out all of our other projects. This is a 1969 Mustang Fastback. Awesome car. We had a roadkill car in the background over there. I've got cars everywhere. As you can see here, I'm just starting disassembly on this. So what I'm going to do here is take off all of the fuel lines. They have little retaining clips. That's what I was just pulling there, like a 10 millimeter. Then I'm using a 12 millimeter here to loosen the fuel rail. And I will, see a couple bolts come out of there. They're 12 mils. And loosened all of the injector lines off the top of that. There we go. And now the fuel rail lifts out. This is just really trash at this point. Throw it in your recycle bin, your scrap metal, whatever, because it's so full of little microscopic pieces that will clog up your fuel system that it is just not worth even trying to clean. I know a lot of people will probably say it's possible, whatever. I wouldn't do it. At this point, I've got most of the fuel lines off the top of the motor. I'm moving down here to start actually pulling the pump, I believe. To do that, you've got to take out the dipstick. I think I'm reaching behind there trying not to pull the dipstick right now. Waste of time. You got to pull it. The 12 mil that's on the back of that pump is really hard. Nightmare. Not really, but bad. There you go. I just told you. That bolt is hard to get to. It's possible. It just takes some work. And then from there, the other two, they come out really easily. Once you get those out, the pump just pulls straight back off the motor. It's relatively straightforward. It will be leaking some diesel. And you also have to pull the two connectors off of it. They're just standard little clips you push in and pop them right off of there. And there we go. The pump is out. And then here, I'm trying to see if I can see this back side of this gear. I'm sure I'll tell you all about it in a second. Okay, so what I'm messing with right now is the timing mark on this little gear. See those little 2 dots? And then you have to transfer that gear to this pump. So ideally, you'd have it perfectly timed. But timing is more an old school thing because this is actually 2 piston pumps in there, and it's kind of keeping constant pressure on there, with the exception of when an injector's open. But the injectors and the injector timing are run by the computer. So, I don't know. I've read that you can get away without timing it. I'm going to read again. But I just want to see. There's no way to see that gear, that motor. The back of that gear is where that timing mark's supposed to be. So, I'm going to just look online real quick and double check. Then I'll transfer that thing over there and see where we're at. All right, I'm going to say I didn't do that quite right. I probably should have just pulled the pump straight out, noted where the timing marks were, reinstalled the gear, put them back, and slid it in. But even that didn't feel right. And I still read everywhere that you could run it without timing it, but it just feels wrong to me. So what I'm going to do now is pull my injectors so I can rotate my motor over easily, try to line up the crank. It's supposed to have a little timing mark on it. Then look at the back of the gear on the cam gear and see if I can see the mark there. Then try to line all this up and put it back in. If not, I'll just put it back in. But, you know.
Alright, so now what I'm doing is I'm loosening all the bolt covers, all the bolts on the rocker cover essentially. And that allows you to get in, loosen the 6mm bolts that are holding the hold downs for the injectors. And then once the injectors are loose, I'm going to turn the motor over and just kind of put the compression up against the injectors. And that will pop them up enough that I can rotate the motor easily by hand. It's just kind of the easy way to do it. And there you go. You see those little puffs? Those are all just a little bit of diesel and oil and everything coming out of there with all the compression of the motor as it spins over. I always use those angled kind of large, what would you call those? Needle nose pliers to pull the electrical clips off the back of the injectors. They're really simple.
My plan is simple. I'm going to turn the motor over until I see the marks on the cam gear using a mirror. Only problem with my plan is it's hard to see anything.
This process took a minute, but I'm going to say it was worth it to just kind of slowly turn it over, look at the mirror, slowly turn it over, look at the mirror, and eventually I was able to find that little timing mark. That's what I would suggest anybody do who's attempting this repair. You know everything's right that way, and it just feels better.
Okay. That is damn near impossible to see. I doubt you guys can see it. There's just a small dot on the back of one of those teeth. And that small dot aligns with my other small dots here. And I just have to slide it in. So, at least I have that lined up. I think there it is. Can you see it? Alright, that dot is my timing mark. And then the dots on the other one have to go on each side of it. And then that will allow me to be correctly timed. Although it's clear it's not super important, it's important enough that they designed the motor to go that way. So I'm going to try to do it right. Inspection cam for the win.
The next day.
Alright guys, back at it again today. About to pull this pump gear, put it back onto the new one, and start the reinstall process here. Oh, yeah, that's not going to work like that. I need some way to hold that. that can only go on one way. It's keyed. So there's a little pin there. There's a little pin on the old one. Just drops right on, and then it's a matter of torquing this nut down. Don't listen to me, but the torque spec I've got offline was 64 foot-pounds. Don't do what I do. Don't do what I do. Let's see if we can chop this up. We don't want to damage that gear. Alright, I've got that torque down to 64 to 70 foot-pounds, somewhere in there. I'm not going to show you how I held that because I wouldn't suggest holding it like I did. But hold that, twist it, you'll be there. Alright, let's do reinstall, which is going to be tricky. Because if you remember, we got these two little dots right here. Those are our timing mark. And that other one has to fit right in the middle there. So the key is going to be figuring out which way this puppy goes, which is going to be like this. And then orienting this to where I think it's right. I'm going to come in. So I'm just fitting it in there with what should be really close, but now I'm going to have to take my inspection camera, look in there and see. I'll probably be off by a tooth, pull it back out, rotate it a hair in the direction I need to go and put it back in. Okay, you can see I'm off. I don't know if you can see that. You see the dot there. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a dot there, and then it's not on the other two teeth. So now I've got to take it out, and I've got to spin the gear that way, it looks like. Right there. Perfect view. Okay, I've got this set up now, so you can see that's the tooth that I have marked. This is the tooth I need to change to line up. Unfortunately, the last time I just spun it, I spun it 10 teeth. So it's going to take a second to figure out where my correct spot is. Looks like we got it. That wasn't too bad. Now you can see, now I have my timing marks split by my timing mark. So that should mean that it's phased correctly with the cam. Everything should be good. When it's, the thing is, it's just creating line, like rail pressure, right? That's the argument. Oh, well, they're powered by an electronic pulse instead of an old school injector that would have actually been timed by the pulse from the injector. But you still want it to be pushing the top highest pressure you can. So I went through the trouble of doing it this way. I hope that helps somebody because it is hard. It's not what anybody else says to do or tells you how to do, but I still think it's the right thing to do. So I wish you all luck on that. Get an inspection camera. There's a little hole in the other gear so you can see through the gear behind it to see the back side, because we're looking at the back side of the timing gear or whatever you want to call it, and the front side of the pump gear. It's kind of funky, but that's the way it is. So get yourself an inspection camera. I mean, that paid dividends right there, right? Look at that. I can see clearly what's happening inside of there. We're good. I'm going to bolt that puppy on, and we'll keep going. Again, I'm not telling you that's the way to do it, but that's the way I did it. And it seems to work fine. Oh my gosh. That dipstick tube absolutely had to come out to make it so that pump could come out. So just don't try to fool yourself. It's gotta happen. It comes in and out real easy, so don't worry about it. I think it's a just a 6mm, yeah, 6mm Allen. Right in the top here of the head. After you've taken out that cover, it's really easy to get to. You're just gonna come along, loosen those up enough, you know, that you can pull them out. I already revolved the motor around with these loose, which we saw a little bit earlier. I'll put that in. Pop, right? That released all of them from being pushed all the way down to the bottom of their bore. And you take out this little clip, right? It's just got a bolt going through it, and it holds the injector down. We're just going to do these one at a time. Pop that out. Pull my injector out, and you can see it's got the crush ring on it. The little brass ring. So when this is put in, it's put in and then crushed into place, and that's what seals it to the head. Things are like brand new. I mean, they're burnt to shit, but they were brand new. They have like 3 hours on them. And then there was just enough contamination in that rail and in the pump and wherever that it just ate right back through them. I feel like an idiot because that's expensive. That's an expensive mistake. But the true mistake was running the cheap fuel filter. So just buy the Bobcat filter, guys. It's like $80 or something instead of 20. I've seen the inside of that, and it is horrible. It is not a real filter. We got to go through all this. Pull your little cap. That's just, there's a little O-ring on the top that fits in there. It's an oil seal, so put a dab of oil around it and pop it in. And then just kind of backwards. We're going to take this. We're going to fit it to the little keyway. There's like a cutout in the side of this. So you really can only put the injector in two ways because of this little cutout. It'll only fit facing that way or facing that way. It's pretty obvious which way you need it facing, because you need the injection port on this side and the return on the back. It's not hard, guys. It's hot today, just so you know. Like, I don't know, 85 or 90 in here. I'll have some. Cover the head up. Always make sure it comes out with the little ring on it. In my experience, they come out with it. In general. I think we're going to run into one that doesn't, and we're going to have to fish it out. But it's got to come out because it's a one-time use part, that little copper. You gonna see that any better? Let's see if I can close up on one of them. That way. Pull the injector, make sure it's got the brass ring. Throw it on my $300 junk table. This is the O-ring I'm talking about. I'm just putting a little used motor oil on it so it slides in easier. You can see it's got a brand new brass washer on there. I'm going to try to drop it in like this because it just gives me a little more confidence that it's seated on there, but you really can tell because there's no other way for it to go in. All right, with those injectors in now, all the injectors are in. They have to be torqued down, which I'll tell you what that is in a second. And then we have to put new lines on all of them. I've already plugged them back in to the injection harness, so they're wired in. But now we need to actually put the fuel lines on. We need to do the return line, put the cover back on. Maybe I'll do that. Let's torque it, put the cover back on. Fuel lines. There we go. We got an order of events here. Hang with me. All right. I have checked multiple places. I'm going to put up the screen right now. They're telling me the correct torque for these is 32 foot-pounds. That's what I remember from last time. I'm going with it. I'm going to do it in 2 steps just to be careful. Can you guys hear the beep? It's one of those things, I know the beep's there, but old age, not old age, loud shit ruined my hearing. I can't hear beeps anymore. Very weird to know they're there. Now that those are in, we're going to put the cap back on. Just wiping it down. These seals are pretty good to reuse. I'm sure it would be better to put a new one on there, but I don't have a new one. So I'm just going to wipe off any obvious filth. And we're ready to put that guy back on. You can do this with your fuel line still on. Let's say you only had to change one injector. You just have to snake it out to the side on this motor, but it is possible. And these have little not crush washers, but like a piece of metal inside of there that doesn't allow you to over tighten. Not to say you can just ram them in, but just make them pretty good. They're supposed to be tightened to like 60 foot-pounds, I think. We might do that. Maybe 7 foot-pounds? I don't know, not many foot-pounds. I just make them snug. That's actually probably tighter than I normally would have done it. Once again, the reason you change everything is because the smallest microscopic piece of filth ruins these injectors. So it seems stupid, but I already tried it the other way. And it turns out what's stupid is trying it the other way. Just buy the whole kit, replace everything. If you buy the one, I bought this from Friday Parts, there you go. Expensive, yeah, I know. But I don't know, a third of the price of Bobcat parts. So you just got to do what you got to do. Brand new bagged injector lines. Now it's just a matter of figuring out which one goes where. I'm sure by part number I could figure it out. Or I could just hold them up. Now you're supposed to replace these every time that you take them off. If you crack it, you're supposed to replace it. It's like a brake line. It's got a little thing there and it's 20,000 PSI behind it. I've reused mine multiple times without issue. I think you can get away with it, but when it comes to this kit, you might as well just put everything new because you don't want the contamination. So just change them out. It's cheap enough. Nothing's cheap on this machine, so just pay this price. That's all I can say. It's worth it. I'm sweating. All right, I got to run out and buy some fuel line, and then I'm going to change my filter out, my filter housing, just replace this whole thing from the ball up. The ball's still good because it's going to pump in the dirty fuel, goes into the new filter, goes back out clean. Let's hope it all works. Give me a couple minutes, I'm going to go grab that. I'll be right back.
A few minutes later.
All right, guys, I got my fuel line. Got my new filter, Bobcat. Look at that, spend the money. I am a Chinese filter kind of guy. Actually, this is Chinese too, but it's better. It's a Bobcat one, and its filtration is so much better. So, no, never mind. Made in the USA. At least the nano net is. That's cool. I'm gonna go clean those up. I'll be right back. Well, it starts and runs beautifully. No smoke, no nothing. Who knows? Everything seems fine. I'm going to input the codes now. I got to get the computer out and do all that. And then I'm going to take it out, run it around a little bit, make sure everything's great. But so far, it seems good. You're supposed to run it for like 20 minutes full throttle after you do this and program everything. So I'll do that and just see where we're at. But first, programming it. Then reassembly of all the little bits and take it out. All right. Now we're at our Bobcat computer, which is stupid expensive. With the Doosan thing, so we can talk to the computer and the ECU for both the motor and the Bobcat track, the whatever, skid steer as well. Do you need to do this? In my opinion, from what I've read, from who I've talked to, no. These are going to be really close. They said they're microscopic differences. Then the computer's going to learn over time, you know, this one's firing a little bit better or worse. Let's give it a little more fuel, a little less fuel, speed it up, slow it down. And it'll probably figure itself out relatively quickly. My last set, I did not do this step. And they ran great, no issues, no power loss that I could detect. But let's say you have this computer and you have this ability, then of course do it. Because the little bit of fuel that it sprays extra or less, it's all negatively affecting your motor. So let's just do it, say it's the right thing to do, and be happy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here and try to find the right menu and all that. It's communicating very slowly. What I want to have pop up, I believe, is parts replacement. And then I can click on that. I can go in and I can put in the codes for each injector. When you do this, remember that the front of the engine is from the rear here looking at it, this is the front of the engine. The right-hand side is the front. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I was trying to get in the wrong program. That's my fault. Okay, so this is how you're going to go in. Once you've installed your injectors, hooked up our computers, now we're coming in here and we're going to go to V1 ECU. Let's see if we can get it. You have to turn the machine on the box. Alright, now we're going to go to reprogramming. Oh, wrong one. Parts replacement. Injector C3I injector coding. Boom, there's our stupid injector code. Fucking who, dude? We got this. Okay. So. Yeah. What we're going to do here, we're going to take a picture of the top of the injector. I'm going to show you what that looks like. There it is. These two lines, that one and that one, equal the one line for the injector code. Put those in together, and then we're going to hit the right button there, like write it. And then it writes it to the computer and it's saved in there. So I'm going to go ahead and do this next one. And then the next one and the next one and the next one. All right, let me show you what I'm doing here. So there's a picture of my injector code. There's the actual injector that the code's on. Let's see if you can see that. So on the top of them there, they have it. I'm taking a picture so that I can actually read it. And then I'm inputting that data here. And I'm clicking on where it says write. Sorry, my screen's blinking. And then it says there, injector coding complete. So that's it. I've done all four. To do that requires a $2,500 computer setup. Whether that's worth it or not, people, I don't know. I mean, I plan to keep this machine. I plan to keep fixing it and repairing it and keeping it working for me for the next decade. So to me, I had to spend the money. I need it to be right. And locally, if anybody needs this done, I'm going to put a little thing out there that says, hey, I'll come to your house and program your machine. Because these machines at this point are like in private hands. A lot of them anyway. This is an old rental machine from whoever this color is. You know, they use the snot out of it. I got it. I've put 100 hours on it or so. It's been amazing to me. I intend to keep it, use it, and love it for years to come. So this is just it's one of those things you got to do. I should never have to do injectors on this machine again. New fuel filter, new everything. There's no reason. So fingers crossed, this is it. Let's fire it up, and you know, later we can come back and do some engine testing with this, which is kind of cool. We can see our fuel PSI, we can see all sorts of things. I don't care about that right now. We already fired it up once. We know it was running good. So I'm gonna take the computer off now, fire it up, drive it around, and hopefully everything's great. Sorry guys, I have to see the side of my head a lot. It's all good. I'm gonna go drive this puppy around. Hey guys, if you're not following my channel and you like automotive content, you're missing out, man. This is one of our future projects here. 1969 Fastback is originally a 6-cylinder car. It is rusted as hell. Rusted as hell. This came from Minnesota or something. But, you know, it exists. Front fenders are garbage. The shock tower's been changed. That rail's been changed, but they're not done well. They were cobbled together at best, so we'll cut all that out. It does have a VIN though. It's a real car. That door has no door hinges. It's got rot in the quarters. It's got rot everywhere. But that's what's exciting about this car, is it is a do what you please with it. It's 1969 Mustang Fastback in kind of a cool paint color and kind of a cool paint scheme. So I'm excited to one day get to this. You can see we have other projects going on. You should also be following along for our Meteor build. That's what I call it, but it's not really anymore. It's a Meteor, 1951 Meteor in the center, Cadillac fenders in the front and the back, custom mid doors, all on top of a 2020 Tesla Model 3. So that thing's a cool cruiser. Another roadkill car over there, the Econorado, and a backyard full of everything. So if you watch this just for some Bobcat repair tips, good for you guys. Thanks for hanging in there. Check out all of our other projects. All right, guys, have a good day. One last look at that thing. Oh, that's awful. Yeah, that's awful. Look at that door. It's falling off. Absolutely awful, and I love every bit of it. All right.